Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's energy forecast for the week. So, this week I will be out of town, so I won't be able to do a daily energy mantra. So, I wanted to go ahead and kind of give you an energy report for the week. And so we're going to be using three different decks. We're going to be using the Divine Guidance deck, the Ask Your Guides deck, and the Enchanted Map deck. And each one of these decks is going to give us a different energetic look at the week. Good morning, Shirley. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. So that's what each deck is going to be giving us, just a different energetic look at the week. So we will definitely get into that. Good morning, Jill. Such a pleasure to see you. Yes, I will have safe travels. I'm actually just going to go over to Chicago for my birthday. I'll be visiting my grandma, my dad's mom. And I will be doing some indoor skydiving. So super excited about that. So let's get into this week's energy forecast. Now, when it does come to the Divine Guidance deck, it is fractal art. So I will be looking at the book to kind of give us what the fractal arts word is, and then I'll give you those intuitive insights from there. So let's go ahead and let's just see what energies we are working with for this week. All right, so let's see the three energies that this beautiful deck has given us. Ooh, we have some beautiful energies here. All right, so let's start with our first one, which is number 42. Number 42. And this is number 42 is called Light Body. Now, when I see this card, what this says to me is that we are encountering a lot of our shadows. And as we encounter those shadows, what we're doing is we're clearing them away in order to reveal the light that we are. That's what this card really says to me. So as we are going through all these transit, all these energies, we are really revealing more and more of our light body, of the truth of who we are. But we have to dispel those shadows so that we can really see the light that we are. Not only the light that we are, but the light that everyone is. Something that I do on my daily walks is I bless as many people as I can think of with happiness. And really, my prayer is just, I bless whoever I'm thinking about with happiness, health, abundance, peace, joy, effortlessness. And I do it for as many people as I can think of, and just being willing to see the light in them. Because if I can see the light in them, I can see the light in myself. And so that's what this card is really giving us that invitation for, to not only clear away our own shadows, but also to be willing to see the light in others. So then we have card number 18. We're going to look up the word for that one. So card number 18, ooh, is beautiful. And this actually goes with a great channeled message that I got yesterday. So this is Wisdom Guide. And how beautiful that we're going through this time of looking at our shadows and being willing to, release them, that we now have our wisdom guide coming forward and helping us to let go of the story that we have, but really be willing to take the lesson with us. And that's what I think real wisdom is. Wisdom is being willing to recognize, yes, I am, going through whatever situation in my life. And I am willing to take from this situation, whatever it may be, I'm willing to take the lesson from it. I am willing to look at it from a higher perspective, not so much to say, oh, look, I can see things from a higher perspective. I'm so spiritual. I'm so this. No, 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 no. We want to look at it from a higher perspective so that we can really see the lesson that is there. And then I'll read the channeled message to you that I actually received yesterday. And the message that I got was seek to be a guide. To guide is to offer a way of being through demonstration and embodiment. To guide is an act of compassion and love because there is no force, simply the power of your dedication, faith, and openness to share your knowledge. A guide can be a teacher or a student and does not claim to be anything but that which they are. A guide will show you the pitfalls and traps along the way and help you to traverse them when you have gone astray. So really, that message is telling us that our wisdom guide is here. And remember, a guide will not tell you what to do. They will guide you, but they're not going to be super specific and be like, well, if you do this, and this, all of this, wonderfulness is going to happen. It's more like a guide is going to just gently push you in a direction and just say, hey, you might want to look at this. Hey, you might want to pay attention to this. And if you're open to it, great and wonderful. And if you're not, then that's great and wonderful too. The guide is not going to desert you. The guide is not going to tell you, oh, you're a terrible person. Just as okay. When another opportunity comes, I'll be more than willing to point out, another opportunity for growth. So then we have card number 39. Ooh, and this is beautiful. And this is the resolution card. Life is like a puzzle, and when you put the pieces together in a way that fits for us, until now, your puzzle hasn't seemed to fit together in a way that makes sense. What seems out of harmony will begin to find harmony, even through some things that feel like they just won't work. So really, as we go through this beautiful process of allowing ourselves to look at our shadows, to take with us the lessons that we have learned, to let our guide, our wisdom guide, really point that out to us, we're going to find these beautiful resolutions. We're going to find how things just fit into place, because when we allow spirit to really get involved in our lives, that's when we begin to find harmony. Now, I'm not really a big fan of the word or the symbol of balance, because balance to me means there's this and that. I like harmony because harmony to me means a synergistic union of all things working together for good. And as we let spirit more and more into our lives, as we unveil some of the blocks and resistance that we have to enjoying life, to having fun with life, and letting spirit heal that for us. Remember, if nothing else, you are not the healer. Your only job is to invite the healing and let it be done for you and through you. Yes, there will be steps that need to be taken, but remember, you are not taking them alone. So that is from the Divine Guidance deck. Now we're going to go to the Ask Your Guides deck, and we're going to see what guides we're working with for this week. Okay, oh, beautiful. Okay. All right, beautiful, beautiful. So this week, it really looks like we're working with a lot of teachers. We're working with our teacher guides, which of course is not a surprise because we had our wisdom guide come forward. So the two cards that we first have is first our master guide with purpose. And what this card really invites us to do is to walk forward with joy and happiness towards that which brings us joy and happiness, but to avoid burnout. So not to just go, full throttle. Oh my gosh, I'm going to put the bar all the way up here and that's where I'm going to get to today. It's more like, okay, what's step number one I can begin to take towards feeling like I am fulfilled, towards feeling like I am moving with purpose towards a goal that I desire. Instead of, here's the bar, this is where I want to be, I'm going to get there today, and if I'm not there today, then I'm a failure. We don't want to do that. We want to take bite-sized steps or even small steps towards that which brings us a sense of fulfillment and a sense of joy. And then here we come once again with our teacher guide. Now this card says balance, but remember what we're looking for is harmony, a synergistic union of all things working together for good. That is what we want. We don't want to be so focused on one thing that we forget everything else. We want everything to work together. How can we fold in this new sense of purpose, this new sense of this is where I want to be, this is where I want to align myself with. I want to align myself more with spirit. And how can I begin to fold in spirit into my life on a more consistent basis? Good morning, Karen. Thanks for joining. Morning, Susan. Thanks for joining. Good morning, Rachel. Thanks for joining. All right. Well, I'm so glad you got to catch me today, Rachel. So then we have our divine helpers with victory. And, once again, this is like that resolution card. It's telling us that all things are going to work together for good. So that's what I think is so, so important, is to be willing to know that as long as I walk with spirit, as long as I walk in purpose, and as long as I am in harmony, victory is mine. All will align together. But we have to remember that alignment means aligning with the truth of who we are. Going back to those first set of cards, light body, wisdom guide, resolution. And so that light body means looking at where you're afraid, where you're in resistance, and saying, okay, divine helpers, once again, you are not the healer. You're not the healer. You are simply there to ask for the healing. So beautiful. So don't allow. So Rachel says, goals don't have to do about work, though. Just, yes, you're exactly right. Your goal is that which, whatever it is that you want to move towards, you want to feel more purposeful, you want to feel more aligned with in whatever way, shape, or form. Now, the interesting thing is, I'm really glad you said that, Rachel, because that brings us to our last card, which is pleasure. And this is about savoring life. This isn't about being a workhorse. It's about how can I enjoy the process of moving into alignment with the truth of who I am, moving towards my soul's purpose or my soul's mission in a way that feels good, in a way that feels great to me. How can I move towards that how can I savor the journey? So that is our second deck of cards. And then we're going to go to our last deck of cards, which is the, what is it? The enchanted map. So let's go to the enchanted map and let's see what beautiful messages we have from the enchanted map. Oh, beautiful. Love our first card. Second card. And third card. Do we have one more? We do have one more. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so let's begin to look at this. Our very first card is the Fly card. Now, the interesting thing about the Fly card is that it gives us this beautiful invitation to really see things from a higher perspective. It's saying, okay, let's, instead of looking at things from our 3D view, let's, elevate ourselves and ask, how would my source see this? How would love see this? How would my guide see this? And really be willing to adopt that higher perspective, that new way of looking at things. And as we get that new way of looking at things, we're going to come into more awareness. We're going to be able to pay attention to more of those little details so that we can really see, everything that's happening and everything that's going on. Because we are, once again, we're letting spirit direct us instead of us directing us. We have been directing ourselves for a long time. And it's not that we're stupid. It's not that we're incompetent. It's just we can't see the whole forest. We're only seeing a little slice where spirit can see the whole entire thing. And that's why we want to invite it in more and more. And as we invite it in more and more, as we see things from a higher perspective, as we step into more awareness, we get this beautiful card of listen. And it's just that invitation to do exactly that, to listen. Your guides are always speaking to you. Your angels are always speaking to you. Spirit is in constant communication with you. But we're so busy, chattering away in our own heads that we can't always hear it. And the reason that we can't hear it isn't because we're not spiritual enough, isn't because we're not meditating enough. It's simply because we have our own plan. And instead of asking spirit what its plan is, we're just like, this is my plan. This is what I want. This is how I want it. Tell me how to get what I want. And spirit says, but I have something so much better for you. Are you willing to listen? Are you willing to know that there is a better way, an easier way, a more effortless way of getting to where you want to be and where you really could be of the most service? I'll never forget the story that I heard from Marianne Williamson, where she was like, God, use me. I'm ready to be used. And, she thought, oh, I'm going to go build churches in Guatemala. I'm going to be like traveling the world and helping people. And, the message that she got was go to Los Angeles. And she was like, God, you're kidding, right? Like Los Angeles? Then I don't need to go to Los Angeles. She kept on thinking that she had to go to like a third world country. She had to go, help these people over here or that person over there. And she just kept getting that message, go to Los Angeles. Well, good thing that she did, because when the AIDS epidemic broke out and centralized in Los Angeles, she was there to be of service to so many people and to start so many beautiful foundations. So we have to remember that spirit knows what's best for us and knows how to use our talents for the highest and best good of all concerned, not just us, but everybody. And so then this is going to bring us to our last card, which is the wishing well. So basically what this card is telling us is stop wishing. Don't stop wasting your coins in, what is it? In the wishing well, wishing for things to be the way you want them to be. We have to remember all that glitters is not gold. Just because in our mind it looks really pretty, it looks really great, for that brief second, let's stop throwing and wasting all of our coins, wishing for things to be different, wishing for things to, be the way we want them to be. And let us instead take that step back and say, okay, if I don't like the way things are, how can I begin to change my mind about them? Because that's the only thing that really needs to shift and change, is the way that you think about them. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't take action. If you see, some sort of injustice, it doesn't mean that you just sit there and be like, oh, well, I got to change my mind about it, and then it's going to change. What you do is, yes, of course you change your mind about it. And then you ask spirit what it is that you should do. How can you be of service? You know, that's a prayer that I have a good majority of the time is, how can I be of service? How can I be of service? If I don't know what to do, how can I be of service? I am ready to be used. So that is today's energy mantra, or that today's energy mantra. That is this week's energy. So we're really working with looking at our shadows, looking at where we want to reveal our light bodies, and we're taking forth the wisdom that we can find, whatever that wisdom may be. We're looking at the pleasure of life. We're looking to move with more purpose towards fulfillment, towards a purposeful life, but we're not going to burn ourselves out. We're finding harmony in that. And we're looking at things from a higher perspective. As we do that, we gain more awareness. Remember, one of the best ways that you can look at things from a higher perspective is, how would spirit see this? How would love see this? How would God see this? How would Yeshua see this? How would Jesus see this? The list goes on and on and on for how would my higher power see this? So that is today's, that's this week's. I'm so used to saying this is today's energy mantra, but remember, this is this week's energy forecast. Like I said, I won't be on for the rest of the week. I will be on vacation for my birthday, so going indoor skydiving, and I will see you all next week on Monday for our restart of the daily energy mantras.